This is the Cruise FM Out of Tune podcast. Here is Stacey and Curtis.
Did you do your research?
I did a little bit of research.
So
Why?
did I.
Oh my. Okay, you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that
What
my
do you
mouse
need to
doesn't work.
get?
No, I don't. I'm good.
You can use your fingers.
I
Don't
can
be a
use my
baby.
fingers. It's the dongle or fingers. Those are your only two options.
Right.
It's true. Okay.
On that note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 10 of the Out of Tune podcast. My name is Stacey,
I'm Curtis.
and we've been having fun with this for almost a year now.
That is crazy.
May, I
Just
think,
coming out
was...
throwing haymakers today. I am properly caffeinated, Stacey.
Are you over-caffeinated?
I'm ready to come alive. There's no such thing.
Well,
I crash.
how many cups of coffee have you had this morning?
I've had one giant Starbucks.
And what kind of coffee was it?
It was just black.
Black.
There's nothing I enjoy better than standing behind these men that are like, I'll have a frappuccino macchiato. Can I have it with a plum on top in a women's slipper? And then I'm like, I don't even want it, but I just want to dunk on them. And I'm like, I'll have a black coffee.
Yeah, venti.
Because very few times during my week I get to feel like a manly man, and that is one of them.
Well, I'm glad you have that.
Yes.
And
So
it
then
brings
I
you
kind of side eye these guys, and they're very expensive. Mm-hmm. Stereotypical. Is it like a little feminine drink?
That's sexist of you.
I know, but I said it.
but
I'm
I
committed.
think-
Is that
I think
stereotypically?
generally more women order fancier
Yes.
drinks, but
So I just feel like I'm about to cut lumber with an axe.
Okay.
When I listen to their order, and then I just say black coffee.
You
like my
are
chest hair grows immediately.
such a badass.
And these guys are like,
Immediately.
"Aww," and they look at their floofy fruity drink, which I actually wanted, and I would have ordered had they not been in front of
there.
me.
Oh, okay.
But now I have to feel like a big man.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It makes perfect. This is all what goes through our minds before we place an order for a coffee.
The
lot of
person in
stuff.
front of me's order dictates what I'm about to order.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
everyone's got ordering envy at a restaurant where
See,
you're like,
and
you
now
go first.
if there was a tall, rugged man in front of me that ordered a black coffee, I just cut my losses and be like, I'll have that caramel
Yeah.
frappuccino.
He doesn't care.
Because I've already been bested.
Way bested.
I'm not going to outman this guy.
No, obviously not. Not with your coffee order.
Yes.
We decided this week to not talk about coffee ordering
Or my insecurities.
or your insecurities and chest hair.
But I feel like we talk about my insecurities every week somehow.
Just a little.
Just a little. It bleeds through in every topic.
You know what? I'm here. It's okay.
Thank you,
you
Stacey.
can let it out. This is a safe space, Curtis.
This is like Sopranos.
Yeah. I won't kill you though.
Yeah, well, I don't think the therapist killed Tony Soprano.
Oh, the
Maybe we
therapist.
don't know.
Who knows?
We don't know. Maybe she shot him at the end when "Don't Stop Believing" was playing. It could.
knows?
I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Could
you're
have been
welcome.
her.
Another conspiracy theory. But we did decide to legitimately talk about the freedom from the 80s. Is that a good enough description?
Sure, I feel like we glow. We put a big halo on growing up in the 80s. But how much of that is actually true from what people, when you say growing up in the 80s, how much of that was true? How much freedom did we have?
So
Did
much.
they actually tell us to come back when the street light came on?
I don't think it was like but it was literally like play outside till we call you in.
When I was thinking about this and the progression of my childhood from like the mid to late 80s into the early 90s, I can track my mom getting more paranoid about me being out alone.
Really?
She was more worried about me in high school being late than in elementary school coming
See, but
home
in
late.
high school, there's different factors, right? When you're 8, hopefully you're not out partying with your
Yeah,
friends
but
with vehicles involved, right?
This would have been before vehicles. She was very more on top of me in grade 9 and 10 of where I was and when I was coming home, even though I was still basically doing what I was doing in elementary school in grade 9 and 10.
I know.
For the
I was
most
such
part.
I feel like I was such a good kid. I didn't get up to anything. Thank you, Java update. So my parents never had a reason to worry about me as a teenager.
Yeah.
I think they might have worried about me more as a kid. But even then, if they were worried, they sure didn't show it.
We should give that Java update a shout out. He's like our third
Every
member.
time.
Our third member of this podcast.
Kablunk, I'm here.
Blunk. Good note. Blunk.
Thanks for contributing. But the thing is, the safety, the awareness, all the things back in the day we just weren't aware of as much. Like, I don't even know where to start this whole conversation, but I just feel like it's relevant to say back then kids went missing. Absolutely. Bad things happened. It's just you didn't know about it as much.
Sure.
And so I just don't think the fear level was as high.
I can remember being I must have been grade 3 or 4. We'll even say grade 5. And the phone rings. Oh, it's my buddy Mike. Do you want to meet at the park? Mm-hmm. Mike leaves his house, walks 3 or 4 blocks. I walk half a block. We just meet at the park in the middle of the afternoon on a Saturday.
Yeah.
As a parent, I don't feel good about that.
Really?
Like, would you just send your child, be like, hey, yeah, go to the park right now and meet someone there with no adult supervision? Just go play, come back in an hour.
How old were you? You said grade 5, 10 years old?
10, 9, 8.
You know, if it was close enough, I would feel okay with it, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I really do want to try and not helicopter my daughter.
For sure.
So I feel like that would be an instance where I'd be okay. Middle of the afternoon on a Saturday? Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of different scenarios that we could go through.
We did that a lot as kids. I had friends that kind of were in a big circle around our school, and we would just meet at the park. And that's wild to me now, thinking about being in even like, we'll say grade 5, 10 years old, just walking away, no cell phone, go into the park. Who knows who else is there?
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing. You don't.
There were so many times we remember sketchy people being at the park, but when you're a kid of the 80s, you're like, look at that guy.
There's a guy.
He's acting funny.
Yeah.
And my heart races when I think about how many times I particularly was in that situation.
I know.
I don't think I was ever in danger. I think this may have just been people partying or like homeless people.
Yeah.
I didn't have the awareness I do now, and it terrifies me looking back.
Oh, it's
that we were just on the swing,
very unsettling
and
feeling.
there was a intoxicated, unhoused person just chatting us up.
Yeah.
And at the time, you're just like, I want this guy to leave. This guy's funny, but I'm kind of uncomfortable. Like, I don't want this weird adult talking to me.
And see, mine was a little bit different because I didn't have a park that I went to. All of my playing with my friends from birth to grade 6 was done on the street or around people's houses on our crescent. Shout out Haviland, Pacific Heights, West Side. And so for me too, it wasn't phone calls that would happen. It was doorbells knocking.
Yeah.
Can Stacy come out if I wasn't already out? And then once we left the house, if it was summer holidays, morning, out you go, you play, you eat your lunch, you come home. I think I was telling you this, like staying out of the house in the summer was like my mom's biggest priority. As long as those kids were not in this house.
Yeah.
We would eat outside for lunch. She'd bring it outside for us, make us eat outside. We were like, okay, fine. I guess we're eating outside. And you just played outside all the time. You went in and out of other people's houses. You just did your thing. And your parents knew you were around because we did have ground rules. We weren't allowed. Like, I lived quite close to Confederation Mall. I couldn't go to the mall without probably going with a parent or an adult. So I think the ground rules were set that we had to stay within our friend radius, which was like 5 or 6 houses, maybe the other side of the crescent at the most.
Sure.
So my parents trusted us and knew that that's what was going to happen. And so we didn't go anywhere, although I did go once to Ralph's Confectionery and got spanked big time.
Wow.
Because I didn't ask.
Right.
I just went.
My circle was, I guess, much bigger because all my friends, like I said, were in multiple directions from the school park. And our school park had another park on the other side of the hill. So we could have been at either park.
Right.
We would go back and forth. And just, it's so wild to me. Because I would come home and we would laugh about these adults we would interact with at the park. And we would quote them back at school the next day. Not realizing, like, we were in freaking danger.
Possibly.
Like,
yeah.
I look back now, those men could have just picked any one of us up and walked away when we were 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, or even like got into a fight or, like some kind of altercation. And I feel like that also does open it up. Because for me, we never encountered strangers.
Really?
Because again, it was just literally like the block of houses. So once I got into high school, I moved to Lawson Heights. And then my friends were further away. So then it was biking over to a friend's house. Which again, fine. Like, go bike the 10 minutes to Tennille's house and play for the rest of the weekend. I'd sleep over. I'd check in on the phone every once in a while. But that was totally fine.
We had one guy that we laughed about for years. And this is one of those sad facts about growing up. He was He was at the park with us yelling, "Look at all the snakes and spiders, look at all the snakes and spiders." And we quoted him and laughed for years. And I remember coming home and telling my mom, there was a guy yelling about snakes and spiders at the park, and she like didn't even look up from cooking. She's like, "Yeah, don't talk to that guy."
Yeah.
And if my daughter came home from the park when I wasn't there and it was like some crazy guy was calling us snakes and spiders and saw snakes and spiders everywhere, I would drive back to the park and be like, "What is this? Like, we need to address this right now.
What is happening?
This would not be a shoulder shrug." So I don't know what my point of this is. We're more aware. Is that helicopter parenting? Are we better off? Are we worse off? I don't know.
You know what? I want to be like, it's all relative, but I think it's just such a huge thing to delve into. I do think the main takeaway is just that bad stuff happened then too. We just know about it more now. And that goes for everything in the world. All of it.
I grew up Lutheran. I know you grew up...
Probably the same. I went to Lawson Heights Alliance Church.
Okay. Was Satanic Panic on your radar in the
No.
80s? Really?
Like AC/DC and stuff?
Just in general. No?
No, nothing.
It was brought up a few times, like in my church, and my mom was heavily involved in the church, so she would bring it up a few times too. My one friend started playing Dungeons and Dragons or some sort of role playing thing. I remember mid elementary school, and she wasn't mad about it, but she was like, "Are you going to play?" And I said, "I don't think so." And she's like, "Yeah, because that's people say that's how you get involved with the devil."
It's a gateway to Satan.
Yeah, kind of. It wasn't like a hard sit down, let's talk. She was more of a, I don't think you don't have the attention span to roll dice for 5 hours and
you can't handle it.
Yeah, pretty much. But she definitely threw it out there, was like, well, there's, some people eat faces after they play Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I do remember, like, I had friends who weren't allowed to listen to certain music.
Yep.
AC/DC, Metallica, Kiss, Ozzy, like all of those.
Thank God for Stryper, keeping the Christian kids in metal.
Ay. But I just wasn't a big music kid either. I was into music more as a teenager, and then it was like Much Music, and it was like mainstream Alanis Morissette, Tiffany, all that kind of stuff. So there was no Satanic Panic in my house.
Alanis Morissette when she was just Alanis?
Yeah, and then she was badass because she said bad words, but my parents didn't know. They weren't listening.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the playing aspect of things. Safety, helmets.
Yep.
Was another freedom that I think we had of just not wearing them. Unless was your family a helmet family?
No.
Yeah.
No. I watched my friend Mike one day. We were riding our bikes, and he just kept like lifting his front tire and bringing it back down. And then he lifted it, and it went sideways.
Oh dear.
And came down, and he was going fast, and he went head over the handlebars, like landed right on his head. No helmet.
No.
But he just got back up.
He's okay?
We kept biking with blood trickling down his nose.
Oh my God.
And kids bounce.
They do to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's just when motor vehicles are usually involved. Like,
yeah.
You can still hurt yourself on your own with a bicycle, but like the minute the cars are involved, and again, because you are biking, like I would bike to my friend's house, which was for sure a 10-minute bike ride away, but most of it was across a park.
Yeah.
So my parents weren't very helmet oriented at all, but then all of a sudden it was like, you need a helmet.
Yeah.
Because sometime in the 90s, my mom heard about helmets. And then it was like, ugh, fine. So you plunk it on your head, you bike out of view, and you take it off and throw it on your handlebars.
Absolutely, you do. I feel with our age, though, we kind of caught just the very tail end of biking with a helmet. It was only a few years it was mandatory before we were driving age, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, mine was not, and my parents weren't like ruthless about the enforcement, but I could get away with just wearing it until I left and then popping it on when I came home. What a ruse.
And it's not like I was, going off ramps and leaping children in cars.
No, I was doing nothing of the sort. But can I just really quickly tell you, I got hit by a car in high school.
Like on a bike?
On my bicycle. Was I wearing my helmet?
You weren't.
I don't know. And
you got up and you were like, I want a career in radio.
A student from my school hit me. It was lunchtime.
That's a Netflix documentary.
Right? And
what was her beef with you?
No beef, none whatsoever.
Not that you know of.
No.
Girl hit you with a car, Stacey.
And I was younger and she was older than me.
Yeah.
And so basically two lanes are heading one way. One of the lanes stopped for me and I started crossing, and then she didn't. She just kept going and plowed into my bike, bent my back tire into a 90-degree angle. And I was so humiliated. I wanted nothing more than to just get up and leave, because here's this like older kid who hit me with her car.
And you're on a boat.
And she's like, oh my gosh, she's crying. And I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. Not a big deal. Let's just. And she's like, put your bike in my car. I'll drive you home. And I was like, So I dragged my bicycle all the way down Lenore. Went home, phoned my mom. I was like, I got hit by a car. She's like, what? I was like, I'm fine, totally fine. I had a bruise on my leg because I fell off of my bike. She basically hit my tire and I fell off my bike. But what a dumb, and I don't remember if I was wearing my helmet. Probably not. And it was just one of those weird situations where, looking back, like, you know, that was very poor on her part. She was not paying attention. It was a crossing area. Anyway, I'm totally fine.
What was her first name?
Don't remember.
Okay. In an alternate universe, I'm doing the podcast with her, and you didn't make it.
Oh my God.
Right?
Anyway.
And she's telling the story about how she accidentally took out
this
a younger kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how she wasn't wearing a helmet. And that was the life-changing moment.
There it was. One other aspect too about the freedom as we were children, and you kind of touched on it when it comes to, but like strangers, how teenage girls would just babysit you. And I don't know, maybe not in your situation, but definitely mine, where it was like a girl that knew a girl whose friend was a girl who knew the girl, and she would come to your house and spend 4 hours with you in the evening. And it was like so awkward because they just sat there and you wanted to do something and they were like, go.
My wife tells me a story about being thrown into that situation too. And I mean, every time she tells it, there's one extra kid, and suddenly one kid has like a cast on a leg. It gets, over the years, I've heard the story so many times that I think she's up to being in charge of like 15 kids below the age of 5 this one time. But
that was the thing.
It was, there's a lot of truth to that, of people just being like, all right,
trusting
bye.
you with your children.
Yeah.
And like, I took a babysitting course when I was allowed to, which was, I want to say 13 or 12, but I was babysitting before then, unlicensed.
Oh, no.
I was an undocumented babysitter. Holy crap. But word of mouth then, like I was making probably, I want to say like $300 to $400 a month.
Holy crap.
Babysitting, because I would have a regular Monday, Wednesday family, and then I would have a Tuesday family, and then I'd have weekends in between, and then I'd have random ones that came up. Like it was a lot.
Damn, that's more money than I make here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's quite lucrative. I still babysit on the side. No.
So do I, but it's my own goddamn kids.
Right? But it was then, like at the time, it was, you know, you show up at this stranger's house. I've never met them before, but someone told me that I would watch their children for them.
Yeah. Someone, they vouched for you.
They vouched for me.
And that was all it took.
That's all it took.
It was. There's no background check. This girl's not a psycho, and she vouched for you, so
she's not going to drink the liquor cabinet stuff. What I did do, though, is I always ate the food.
Oh, yeah.
And they were so great about it. And that was kind of think about the magic of babysitting is like, they're like, we bought snacks. We left them out for you. Help yourself. And I was like, absolutely, I will.
Yeah.
And so that was part of the draw, I guess.
As a parent, you look back at how excited those couples were to get out.
Oh, God. I babysat for one family. They had 2 boys, and they had just, the wife had the little baby, so it was a third boy. And I babysat for a newborn when I was 12.
Yeah.
A newborn baby.
Cool.
12 years old.
No problem.
Not an issue whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I know parents now who have not had a date night, and their child's 2.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Never mind a newborn, and they're like, see you in 6 hours.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's a
crazy. Different. It was definitely a shift. And
Such
I would
a different time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Were we more responsible back then, or was it just a given? Was it just society?
I think, again, it was like, we just don't know. There's this kid. Someone said she's fine. I'll take your word for it. Sure. And because I hadn't burnt a house down or lost a child, I guess I was good.
I've had my wife and I have had 2 kids. And if someone right now was like, here's a 6-month-old, I'll be back in 5 hours, I would freak out.
Would
you? Like,
you?
a little bit. I'd be like, I don't remember what, I don't know, don't trust me with your child. I don't remember what to do.
It's like a bike. You'll be fine.
Yeah, till that girl hits
with
you.
no helmet.
Till that older girl called life runs you over.
Okay, here's another freedom of the back in the days, 80s. Were you a latchkey kid ever?
Oh, yeah.
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 I got out of school at what, 3:15, 3:30, something
Yep.
like that. And it was my responsibility to take my brother home. He's 4 years younger than me, so I'd have to go pick him up from his classroom. We'd walk home, and I had a shoelace with the key on my neck. Like that's what I had.
What it was.
And then once I got home, I had to start making dinner. And so I'd be cooking up ground beef, getting hamburger helper going. I used to have to make a salad. And this was in grade 5. So 10 years old?
That's intense.
Yeah. It was a strict, and because the thing is we had swimming lessons to go to. We had organ lessons to go to. So the earlier we could eat, the more efficient our day would be. And so cooking, the allowance of cooking was, I think, a lot too, where it was like on summer holidays, me and my brother were broiling pizzas, we're making craft dinner. And it was not a big deal. Like, it just was fine. Whereas now, if you want to, first of all, explain to your child how the oven works.
And trust them to not burn the house down.
Trust them to not burn the house down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a hard pass.
Yeah. How did you have responsibilities when you got home as a latchkey, or were you just like...
It was more take care of myself.
Okay.
Yeah. They never asked me to cook, but I would go home and just raid the snacks and just... gluttonous, unwatched. I don't know. I had so many responsibilities as a child that this just fell into one of them. It's like, you're going to come home and start supper and make a salad and do that thing. And it was just like a no-brainer for me. So I would just eat snacks, and then there was never anything good on after school.
Right after school, you have to wait
Sally,
a little
Jesse,
bit.
Raphael, and some weird PBS cartoons that
Donahue.
Yeah, that is a weird time to think about. Yeah, just coming home by yourself.
Yeah. And my parents didn't. My dad, I think, usually got home around, I want to say 4, something like that. So I wasn't alone for very long, but it was just still the responsibility of me to get stuff going so that we could be efficient and make it out the door in time, blah, blah, blah. Just going back to how when you needed to come in when the street lights are on.
Yeah.
My dad they grew up in Mayfair, and there's a park in Mayfair on, I want to say 37th and E. And that's where my dad and his siblings would play. And their house was just down Avenue E, about 5 or 6 houses. But from the park, you could see my grandma's backyard. And when it was time for the kids to come home, she would put a red bandana on the clothesline and put it all the way out so that they could see it from the park. So that was you guys better get home. The handkerchief is on the clothesline.
I imagine her dressed like Rosie the Riveter.
I wish. No, she was a cute little Mennonite grandma
Okay.
with slacks and a matching blouse. But regardless.
That's phenomenal. That's like early text messaging.
I know. But the other thing with that one is it's quite subjective, because you can be like, well, we didn't see it.
Yes.
But then it would be like, well, no, it's your responsibility to watch.
Yeah.
And then, just to go back to my childhood, that was my dad. So that would have been late 60s. For us, because of the roaming in the neighborhood, no cell phones, obviously. And my parents would never phone the neighbors and be like, hey, is Stacy there? Could you tell her to come home for dinner? So what my dad did is he opened the back door and just went, and we would hear it and be like, we got to go. And we'd have to run home because it was time for supper.
Wow.
And that was also just nobody else's dad did that except for mine.
So it was a very distinct alert.
So it was and it just had that urgency of you better hear this.
Yes.
And of course you would. It was piercing in the, hot summer evening. And so, yeah, we're playing, doing whatever. And then you'd hear that whistle and we were gone because we had to go home.
There was a big tree in front of our house that was kind of between our house and the neighbor's house. And I would just leave my toys in there all summer. I would go and play in the tree because it was the perfect tree climbing tree. So I would have $60 worth of G.I. Joe guys in the tree just all summer. And nobody took them.
Nobody took them.
There
was way more trust back then,
Yeah.
I think.
If my daughter left her toys in a tree outside at night, I'd be like, no, you're not.
Those are going to be gone.
Those are going to be gone.
But I wonder if they would, because I live in an apartment and there's a girl who has her bike just leaning against her patio, and it's still there.
Wow.
And it's been there for months, not locked up or anything. It's just leaning. So I don't know. Maybe we're just not trustful enough.
I realize I am sounding like a absolute paranoid lunatic this podcast, where
Hey, man, it's 2026. It's
I
fine.
am simultaneously asking my parents WTF while crossing my arms, being like, nope, no way, no way.
I know.
Keep my children safe.
But the other thing that changes too is like when you're a kid, and right now we're both parents.
Yes.
And so the want to protect your child is still there. Our parents wanted to protect us. It's just that it was different.
They
It's such
didn't
a
have
different
headfuls
time.
of Netflix documentaries.
No.
I wonder how much of that added to our paranoia, just the internet and the world becoming smaller.
Well, that's what I mean. You would hear
hearing
of that
about
little
so
boy
much.
who got James Bulger in the UK, where he got led away from a shopping mall and killed by 2 teenage boys. He was like 3 years
Horrific.
old.
That still haunts me, and
Oh.
my walls are high.
Yeah,
And I read about that case, and I was like, nope, well, not sleeping for
I know.
2 weeks after that. Horrible.
I even feel weird now because when I drive my daughter to school, sometimes it works out that I can do that. And you see a few children, because I think still kids just don't walk to school anymore.
Yeah.
But I saw some little ones and they were walking on the ridges on the side of the road. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
And they were so tiny. They
Yeah.
had to have been like kindergarten, grade 1, walking on the ridges on the way to school. And I was like, And that was the other thing. Walking to school as a child, I walked probably 15 minutes to school with about 6 other little hoodlums from my block. And off we went by ourselves. In kindergarten, I walked at 5 years old. 15 minutes alone up the street.
My sister actually recently told me a story I had not heard before about how her and her friend, before we moved to Bell Crescent, this
Bell
may have
Crescent.
been
Is
why
that
we
where you
moved.
grew up?
This may have been why we moved, but before we moved really close to the school, they had to walk on this like overpass thing. And she said one day a man chased them, her and her friend.
Oh, yeah.
Like full on chased them, and they ran to school. And
Yeah.
we're like, well, that was weird.
Yeah.
And that was not something that was worth sharing when they got home, apparently. It's
Oh,
like,
they
well,
kept it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, like, you don't want to, because had they told the story, what if all of a sudden rules were put in place then from your parents, right?
You can't walk together
you can't
with your
walk
bestie.
over the overpass. You can't do
Yep.
that anymore. So I can see the keeping from the parents, which as the kid would be like, whew, good, we're still able to do what we want to do. But as a parent, you're finding out later, like, what? Why didn't you tell me? Because, Mom.
We had kids that lived across the street, and I always remember this. This is a story. They went to one of the pools in the city. I think it was like, what's the one by Grosvenor? This is
Lathy?
Yeah, this is a long time ago. This did not happen anytime soon. And they're like, we're swimming. And then there was this one guy on the other side of the chain link fence that just put his junk through the fence.
Oh, dear.
And they were like, that happened. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. They were just like, that's like, what a weirdo.
Yeah.
And they just kept going. They're just like, oh, back in the pool. And it's so weird how you process those things as a kid compared to an adult.
I know.
I'm
And I
still mortified. It didn't even happen to me, but as a kid, I was like, "That's so. Why would you do that?
Why
What a
would you
weirdo."
do that, you weirdo?
You
Meanwhile,
weirdo.
the parents are like, call the police.
100%.
And I had an incident of that as well, where I saw a gentleman's body part that I did not need to.
Yes.
It was a group of us. I wasn't by myself, thank God. But we did tell a parent. And I remember, I don't know if the police came, but I just remember it was the buzz of the street. It was
Yeah.
like, holy crap, this happened. Did you hear about this? The parents talking to each other. And it was just, like, well, maybe we'll heighten our awareness of the playground, because it happened at the school playground.
Huh.
So stuff did happen. It did.
Was the punishment less severe back then?
For,
Somebody doing that?
I don't know, exposure?
Yeah.
Maybe
'Cause
not. Maybe it was like a misdemeanor, whereas now it would be an actual charge. Or like I don't know my terminologies. But maybe it would have just been like a slap on the wrist then, whereas now it would be like,
It's
whoa,
like lynch mob.
Yeah, you're in jail.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That is the weirdest thing. That is my biggest takeaway from today and talking about this, is how I don't know if as a kid you just didn't see that side of the ramifications of these events because you were just a kid.
Yeah.
You're like, that happened. That was weird. I moved on.
I moved
Did it like spider web through the parents and
Did that guy get arrested and charged?
Was
Who
that a
knows?
thing? Was everyone on the phone in the 80s being like, OMG, this happened? Were your kids there? What did you hear? What was their version?
Or like getting witness statements from the children involved? Hello?
Yeah. Or was it just like, keep an eye out. Someone's sticking their junk through the pool fence.
Just keep your eyes peeled.
Maybe stay on the east side of the pool if that's
don't go to that fence.
Yeah.
Because clearly that's his area.
That's his area. He's got a favorite section.
Honestly. Another part too of our childhood that I wanted to bring up, and I've actually talked about this on air, is the documentation of our childhood.
Yeah.
i.e. the absence of that. Aside from a baby book, right? I have my
Well, were you the firstborn or the secondborn?
I was the first.
Oh, then you have a baby
my
book.
brother's got a smaller baby book. But I do remember in my baby book, the pictures are of me until I'm about, I don't know, 2. And my lock of hair is in there, a lot of cards from whatever, birthdays, pictures of me at Halloween. But then after that baby book, it was just like cameras just weren't out.
Yeah.
And here we are experiencing our day-to-day over the summer holidays with no documentation. Who knows what happened? Who knows what I was wearing when I was 8? Back in the day. Whereas now, and I said this question, I said, do children now, are they going to remember their childhood differently because it's at their fingertips? Fiona's entire life exists on my phone.
Yeah.
Every second of it. Well, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
from the
absolutely.
time she was born until 2 days ago, it's all there. So we sit sometimes for fun and we look at old videos of when she was
Absolutely.
like 2, 4. Remember when we went here? Remember when we did that? Yes, it's because it's right in front of her face. Whereas we would have done so much, and none of it was documented because you just didn't back then. But I just think it's got to be such a weird, like they have a completely different grasp of their childhood because it's right at their fingertips.
I was actually listening to a podcast about this phenomenon where you grow up and like for us, we really romanticize like the 80s or the late 70s because that's what we remember. Whereas now kids can go on YouTube and watch anything from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, and they can pick and choose what they want
their
to
memories.
incorporate into 2026, where we didn't have that option. We were like, remember how cool this was? And they have just an unlimited, at their fingertips, encyclopedia of the best and the worst of the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think about, where someone will just pluck a fashion thing from like the 40s and be like, hey, this is cool now.
Whereas we would have had to explain
Yes.
how your grandma might have dressed. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, it would have been like this. And now there's like a TikTok about it.
Yeah. We're like, oh my God, can you remember bell bottoms? Like,
Yeah.
if that is your earliest memory and that's accessible to everyone now.
Yeah.
You're not this holder of the information of the past.
And that's the whole, conversations we'll be having till the end of time. What decade was better? What childhood
Yeah.
was better? Whatever. Is that there's no allure anymore. All the information's there. We didn't have information. We went to the library. My parents had encyclopedias.
Yes.
And I remember doing a book report on like Peru, and I grabbed the P. I went to Peru, and they broke it down for economy, cuisine, life, and I just wrote stuff out of the book,
you
and
sure
that was
did.
it.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about Peru. I knew nothing about anything else because no one had either told me or shown me. Whereas now, like it's so different.
It's so different, and people can just be experts on it. Like I mentioned bell bottoms. And you could be like, oh, yeah, I can remember when my grandma wore bell bottoms,
Yeah.
I remember in like, my earliest memory in 1982. And they'll be like, well, actually, some 20-year-old now can be an expert on bell bottoms and 70s fashion and be like, well, I did a deep dive research and actually like no one was wearing bell bottoms after 1976 and they were called this and they were, but it happens. And you're like, that's what I meant.
Exactly. You feel stupid. Anyway, I feel like this is one of those conversations too that we could go back and forth on like a billion times about,
I was really lost in my own head at this one.
Yeah.
I don't know why I pitched this yesterday. Because it wasn't all bad.
No, but it's also a deep one, really, if you think about it.
But I mean, I keep running into, I guess this is my point. Do we romanticize the freedom we had as children of the 80s unfairly? That we were actually
abandoned,
put in situations that were unsafe. that's not
the thing is it's relative because at the time it wasn't unsafe. Everybody was doing that. Everybody's kids played outside. Latchkey kids did their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't put in dangerous situations. Looking back, yes, of course we would think that, but it's all relative. At the time, it was very romantic.
That's a good
way to look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome
for letting me. Work that out in real time.
$250 for today's session.
I'll be Tony Soprano. Look, I can't have this conversation again. That's my favorite Tony Soprano quote.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Because I have no ill will. I love my childhood, man.
Me too.
I dunk on kids these days, even though I'm responsible for 2 childhoods. Of like, oh, we had so much freedom.
Yeah.
And then I always walk it right to the line and go, I don't want you guys to have this.
Yeah.
Even though I'm like, it's completely hypocritical. Mm-hmm.
But you know what? They don't deserve our childhood.
They
They don't get it. We had it.
Yeah.
It was ours. Now they're having a different one.
Yeah.
And for us, I think you maybe touched on this previously because this whole thing's about nostalgia, is forcing those memories on them and expecting them to feel the same way. We can't because they weren't there.
I think also in like 20 years when our kids are growing up, they're going to be talking to their kids. And their kids are going to be like, oh my God, you just had access to open AI. You had unlimited Google.
Yeah.
Like you could just look up whatever.
Yeah.
You had streaming services that you didn't have to pay per episode. Per minute.
Guaranteed, my grandma at one point was like, you guys have running water. I had to go and melt snow and blah, blah. So it's all progressive. It's all relative. Everybody goes through it just very differently with different forms of technology and different weirdos putting junk through the fence.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to end on that.
No, that is, don't be grab life by the horns and all that. Mm-hmm. Put your junk through the fence of life one day at a time.
I love it.
There.
But nicely, please.
That should be one of those.
Oh my God.
One of those 90s inspirational quotes.
With a cat hanging on a branch.
Yes. Or junk through a fence.
No, we don't need a visual.
But you can blur it.
Okay.
You can actually have like a picture of blurred junk
stuff and
through a fence.
And a trench coat. Anyway, okay. Well, that was a lovely little trip down memory lane. I feel like we need to talk about other...
I feel like this is my last podcast. I feel like the bosses are outside the door right now, knowing they made a horrible mistake.
Curtis said junk through the fence 18 times in that podcast.
Junk Through the Fence, also my favorite alternative 90s band.
Oh, man. Because you know what I do want to talk about at some point is also... Well, I don't know. Maybe that goes into this one. Did you ever have block parties?
Yeah.
Block parties were the shit.
Yes.
Haviland Crescent, the city would come and put the street blockers up. Nobody could drive. And we would barbecue hot dogs. We would have bike decorating sessions.
Yes.
And then you'd parade your bike around the Crescent and they'd judge you and give a winner for the best decorated bike. You'd put those
many cards
on your
and
tires.
spokes.
Yes. And it was a huge deal, those block parties. And I just don't think they happen as much anymore.
My block apparently has block parties, but we were just invited to one for the first time a couple years ago. It's on the other side of our crescent.
Oh, nice. That's fun.
I know. We're on the bad side, apparently.
Aren't you on a main drag? Riff-raff. No, you're not on a main drag.
We're just off a main drag.
But crescents are big, right? Like on Haviland, there was like 2 different chunks of it, a couple different sides. So I get that. Maybe you need to have a block party on your side.
Yeah.
And then
I'd have to meet my neighbors first, though. I've only been there 12 years.
And you haven't met your neighbors?
Not really.
Curtis!
I'm part of the problem.
You are. You are paranoid.
I didn't start out this way.
It's fine. You're still a good person.
I try.
You are. Okay, we will come up with another something from our past to talk about next week for episode 10. In the meantime, we'll smell you later, cheese bag.
What the fuck?
It's my sign off. Okay?
Okay, I like it. Run with it. Jeez, it's not ready for that.
Thanks for listening to the Cruise FM Out of Tune podcast. Check back for new episodes wherever you get your podcasts or at cruisefm.com.